Hey, what's up guys, it's Tariq here from smartbiketrainers.com. So I'm just gonna spoil this video for you right off the top. The Neo 2 is just an incredible trainer. It's the most powerful, most accurate, and most advanced trainer you can purchase today. But before we get into the details of the Neo 2, if you are new to this channel, this is where I talk about indoor smart trainers, in-depth reviews, cycling apps, and a bunch of other fitness gadgets. I don't just put these products through some standard testing protocol. I use them as an athlete and try to give you an honest opinion, so consider subscribing. And if you want to get notified when I upload new videos, make sure you hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button. And as always, if you have any questions or comment, just let me know down in the comment section below. Okay, so Tacx updated the Neo last fall along with the Flux with better internals, a faster internal chip, and a blue color. I don't know about you, but I am a fan of this blue color. I think it gives it a bit of a contrast and it just demands attention in the room. But the most significant and most notable update to the Neo 2 was the addition of the capacitive cadence sensor, and we will get into that in a minute. So the Neo 2 is priced at $1,400. That is not cheap, but it is $300 cheaper than the Neo 1 when it first came out in 2015. So just keep that in mind. The Neo 2 has a maximum power of 2200 watts, maximum slope of 25%, and a virtual flywheel surrounded by a 32 neodymium magnets instead of the traditional belt other trainers use. The magnets control the flywheel and provide the brake power and energy to move the flywheel. The Neo 2 ride feel is what you would expect from a high-end trainer at a $1,000 plus price range. The flywheel is also powered by a motor. When plugged into power, you will get descent simulation. So when going down descents, you can choose not to pedal and coast all the way down, and the motor will keep that flywheel spinning. But if you prefer to push some power when going down descents, the Neo will give you just enough resistance to keep that power up. Or you can just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride down. Also, the Neo 2 is not rigid. The frame will allow for some side-to-side movements, so you aren't locked in place. So when you take the Neo out of the box, you will find a quick release, a 142, 148 millimeters adapters, a front wheel block, a 1 millimeter space for a 10-speed cassette, and some other adapters for different type of bikes and configurations. The Neo 2 does not come with a cassette, unfortunately, so you need to provide your own cassette. It's compatible with a Shimano and SRAM 8 to 11 speed. It is also compatible with a Campagnolo cassettes, but you need to purchase the adapters separately. Once you get the cassette installed, make sure to pair it to the Tacx utility app and check for new firmware. If there's an update, make sure you install it. Tacx did release a number of firmware updates for the Neo 2 to fix some cadence issues. Also, Tacx releases firmware updates on a regular basis to fix issues or even add new features. So make sure to check on a regular basis or check smartbiketrainers.com for updates. So once you check for a firmware update, make sure to unpair it and close out of the app before attempting to pair it to anything else. Otherwise, you might have some connection issues. The Neo does not require calibration, and as of this video, it is the only smart trainer out there that does not require calibration, and that is also the case with the Neo 1. Pairing the Neo to third-party apps or devices is very simple. The Neo 2 is ANT+, Bluetooth, and FTMS compatible. You can pair it to your Garmin Edge or Element by computer as a power meter or smart trainer and control it directly from there, or run it as in erg mode, or pair it to Zwift or Trainer Road or any other apps that supports these protocols. The Neo broadcasts power, cadence, and speed. This makes pairing it to apps like Zwift on Apple TV in particular very simple and hassle-free, and you don't have to worry about getting a separate cadence sensor or anything like that. So the Neo does not need to be plugged into power to operate, by the way. You can use it to train in erg mode or free ride. You'll also get Roadkill Simulation. It will broadcast all metrics, power, cadence, and speed, all without being plugged in. Basically, everything will work when unplugged from a power source, the same as when plugged into power, except for the descent simulation and freewheeling. It does need power to operate the motor, and also when you update the firmware, make sure it is plugged into power. One of the unique features of the Neo is that Roadkill Simulation. When this feature is enabled, the Neo will vibrate to simulate different roads such as cobblestone, concrete, or wooden plates, gravel, dirt, and many others, and you will feel it in your pedal. This feature is available in a number of apps such as Tacx On App, Zwift, and Full Gas. If you aren't a fan of this feature, you can easily disable it within the app. In Zwift, you can find Roadkill Simulation option in setting menu. I personally love this feature and I always have it enabled. By the way, if you are in workout mode in Zwift, Roadkill Simulation will be disabled when in erg mode, but if you switch to slope mode, Roadkill Simulation will be enabled, and you will also feel resistance slightly increase when hitting dirt roads or wooden plates or cobblestones. So just thought I mentioned that in case if you're trying to hit those intervals and all of a sudden that resistance increase. The NEO is very quiet, super quiet, and here's how it sounds. Most of the noise you are hearing is coming from my drivetrain, but also there's that slight humming noise that you'll hear from the flywheel. So here it is at 20 miles per hour. This is the flywheel speed that you will most likely be at or below when in erg mode. Now let's listen to it at 30 miles per hour. I don't know how the sound will come out in the video. All depends on if you are using a headset or not and the device you are using, but I can tell you it is very quiet and you will be very pleased. Take it from me. And because of the unique design of the flywheel, you won't get that vibration like you might get with a physical flywheel. So that's something to keep in mind if you live in an apartment, for example. And when Roadkill Simulation is on, the NEO will make other noises. For example, this is a cobblestone. My chain is making too much noise here. This is dirt road. And this is gravel. These noises aren't loud or anything. You will feel these vibration in your pedal, which is pretty cool. And I just wanted you to hear it just in case you were wondering what the hell is this noise. Okay, now let's get into the accuracy side of things. Tacx claims the NEO is less than 1% accurate. Now, this is really hard for me to validate because finding two power meters that are this close together is pretty tough. My Power to Max crank base power meter is the one that I trust and been using for many years, and it always matched perfectly with the NEO 1. So I thought this is a good base to start from, and let's take a look at and see how it compares to the NEO 2. Here's a ride from the Norseman Race series in Zwift. In reality, it was more of a social ride than a race for me, but for an hour and 40 minutes or so, the NEO averaged 201 watts and my Power to Max averaged 202 watts. Normalized power was 211 watts with the NEO 2 and 201 or 210 from the Power to Max. So that's 1 watt difference. That's 0.5%. In erg mode, it responded very well to changes and was quick to respond too. Here's a ride I did on Trainer Road. This workout is called Looking Glass and is meant to build your aerobic engine and tempo pace. It consists of a 3x20 minute intervals between 75 to 90% of FTP with 3-minute recoveries between them. No smoothing was done here, and as you see here, the NEO 2 hit each watts target perfectly and TSS target for the full workout. But let's take a look at another workout with shorter intervals. This workout is called Mills and it's basically 3 sets of 3x2 minute intervals. The first 45 seconds of each intervals go up to 120%, then slowly drop down to 110%. This was done in erg mode and it is a good workout to build that peak aerobic engine, which I desperately need after my very long break. Let's take a look at one of these intervals. This 45-second section target was 305 watts and the NEO came in at 302 watts. So 3 watts off target for the 45-second is pretty good. The next 75 seconds target was 293 watts and the NEO came in at 293 watts. For the full intervals, the NEO came in at 296 watts and the target was 295 watts. So we're looking at 1 watt difference. So the cadence, that was the biggest upgrade from the Neo 1 to the Neo 2. Tacx added a capacitive cadence sensor to the Neo 2, and that made a big difference to the cadence measurement. Here's the cadence from the old Neo 1. The Neo 1 did a pretty good job at estimating cadence, but from time to time, if you look closely, it had these occasional spikes as you see here. With the Neo 2, the cadence was spot on, no spike as you see in this chart. Both cadence for my crank-based power meter and Neo match almost exactly. The Neo has the ability to measure left-right power distribution and pedal stroke analysis. This feature is currently only available in Tacx Training app and on Windows only. A Mac version is in beta and should be available sometime this year, hopefully. Now, other apps and devices can display this data. It isn't locked by Tacx or anything. It is open for other apps to display it. So hopefully we'll see this data on more devices or apps soon. And I am looking at your Trainer Road and Zwift. Now, there is no perfect trainer and the Neo isn't perfect. There is still that virtual wheel slippage the Neo 1 had, and that didn't go away with the Neo 2. You will feel it when the flywheel is under a heavy load and your bike is an easy gear or the biggest cog in the rear cassette. I felt it myself when climbing the Alpe Zwift a few times. It will feel like when you ride your bike outside on a wet morning and going up a steep hill, the rear wheel will start to slip under you because there isn't enough friction to keep it in contact with the road. So the reason this flywheel slippage happened with the Neo because there is no physical build holding that flywheel in space, only magnets. So when you are riding a steep hill, riders tend to get fatigued pretty quickly and results in a very choppy pedal stroke. Basically, to keep the momentum going, we end up putting a lot of force in the downstroke and relaxing in the upstroke. And then you will try to react and adjust your choppy pedal stroke very quickly and you'll feel a very slight slippage. So to alleviate this issue, just try to keep your pedal stroke smooth, keep your power up, and don't get too sloppy. Finally, the left-right power data, pedal stroke analysis, isotonic, isokinetic modes. This isn't a Neo limitation or issue per se. This is more of a software limitation and particularly third-party apps. Until we see more apps display and take advantage of this data, there isn't much you can do with it at this point. Other than that, the Neo 2 is the best Neo ever. And this is it. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next video.